Hey everyone, it's end of year, and I guess we all know what that means. It's the obligatory worst and best movies I've seen. This is not something to get argued about. This is all just opinion. Your opinion might differentiate from mine, so let's get that straight out of the way. I think this is probably going to be a little bit more different than a lot of people who you see online do worst and best does. This will probably be pretty unique, and I'm pretty sure we're going to argue on a lot of them. For the worst, we're just doing top 5 because I don't want to go through 10, and I'd rather not remember a lot of these movies. So, with that being said, let's go to the honorable mention. Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. Talk about a movie that is a series that is sleepwalking itself to death. This is definitely the series. Johnny Depp does the same thing that he's done in the past movies. The movie does nothing new. It brings nothing to light. It rehashes all the stories that we didn't like from the previous ones and brings it back with more actors who are like, why did you do this? So, that's an honorable mention. Another honorable mention is Baby Driver. Fuck this movie. I don't give a shit what anyone says about this movie being classy, artsy, and whatnot. This movie was fucking dull, devoid of story after 45 minutes. It evolved into a Michael Myers story with John Hamm's character, and then ended in such a fucking stupid ass ending. I can't. Watch Family Ties and you'll get the same ending as Baby Driver. Awful movie. With that being said, let's go to the top 5. And at number 5, Ghost in the Shell. This is a movie adapted from a Japanese anime, including a manga, which I don't think holds up to this day, and I don't think it was that good to begin with, even if I have owned every incarnation. This movie is a slog. While it's not trying to be as deep as the original, and it doesn't have the convoluted story as the original, this also has kind of no story, and you can kind of see it coming. The characters are flat and bland. All the characters that they set up as the side characters from the unit end up meaning nothing at the end of the day. The story goes along and you can probably figure out what's going on probably about 15 minutes into the movie while they're setting up what's supposed to be the surprise ending. I did get a good chuckle out of the fact that there's a part in the movie where she's running up the steps and she literally looks like a video game. Other than that, this is a harmless movie. It's boring. The ending choice is absolutely fucking baffling, especially with the controversy that is going in. I didn't even give a shit about the controversy about Scarlett Johansson as a white person playing a Japanese person, but how they handle it at the end is absolutely fucking stunning and mind-numbing. How the hell someone let this go through? And it was so drab and boring. The only thing good about it is backgrounds, and we'll get to that when we get to number 1. But that's about it. Everything else was just like, oh, mind-numbing. Yeah, they copied and pasted scenes from the first movie, and I guess they took stuff from the Ghost in the Shell conflict. Didn't care. It was boring. The only good thing about it is only an hour and 40 minutes, and by the time we got to the final fight scene, which is once again a callback to the original movie, I was looking at my watch going, oh man, I'm almost the hell out of here. That's about it. So Ghost in the Shell, awful. On to number 4. Number 4, Underworld Blood Wars. Oh my god, this movie. As a self-propelled, I have no issue saying that I own all of them on Blu-ray. Don't ask me why. These movies get progressively worse and harder to watch. I remember buying, this is a January movie, I didn't see it in theaters, I bought it on Blu-ray. And I watched it and I was like, I just couldn't care less. All the stories are bogged down. Nothing makes a lick of fucking sense. They contradict the lore that they introduce in previous movies. They make up shit as they go along. The movie just, it's all blue and dark. I'm pretty sure there's a scene, there are a couple of scenes, either the train scene or the scene where they're walking in the snow, where Kate Beckinsale wasn't there. It could have been me and Jeff walking there. It wouldn't have mattered. It didn't matter. You could have just dubbed us over and it would have been fine. This movie is freaking awful. It's terrible, and I just sit here wondering, why do I do this to myself? This is more a compilation on... I kind of enjoyed the first Underworld. I like Rise of the Lycan more than most, but holy crap, everything in between is just like god awful. So yeah, that's number 4. Let's go to number 3. Number 3, Geostorm. Holy shit, this movie was awful. Not only was it awful, it was so cobbled together. I was literally sitting there looking at the main character's beard change shape from scene to scene, and it had no idea what it was trying to do. Was it trying to be one of Roland Emmerich's stuff? Was it trying to be a family movie? Was it trying to be Interstellar? Was it trying to be Gravity? This movie had no idea, and everything just fell apart. You could tell this movie is bad just by the fact that it was supposed to come out, I believe, 4 years ago, and now it's coming out, and it was fucking awful. Oh, it was bad. Like, Gerard Butler, not good. Pass on it. Unless you want to laugh, then go ahead and have fun with it. Just continuity was like... You can nitpick continuity, but if I was to be here looking like this now and then show up in the next scene bald, you would be like, what the hell just happened? And that's exactly what this movie is. This movie is awful. Don't see it. Let's go on to number 2. Aliens Covenant. Ridley Scott. This is a franchise that now has 5 movies and only 2 of them are good. And we're not even counting the Aliens vs. Predator stuff. Just this series. This movie is fucking awful. Between taking forever to do anything, having romances put into the movie that the audience didn't know who the hell was who, the fact that they had slapstick and laughs in this movie, the part where it turns into a slasher movie at the end, fucking awful. All of it. I remember me and Jeff doing the review for it after we saw it. We were just like, oh my god, this is just a blatant waste of time. Nothing was interesting about it. It was just trying to give you backstory on stuff you didn't care about and no one will ever care about. The xenomorphs, the aliens, were way too overexposed in this movie, and it was just bad. I think I fell asleep in the middle of the movie. It was so freaking boring. This movie sucked, but it's not as bad as number 1. Blade Runner 2049. this is where let the hate mail jump in now. This movie's not a good movie. This movie's fucking boring as shit. This is a movie that spent $180 million trying to be an art house flick. And it is, but it's not fun. This movie has its own mythology so far shoved up its own ass. People were walking out of the theater that I saw it in. Me and Jeff saw it opening weekend, and we saw it in 40X. So we paid for the seat shaking, the seat shifting. We paid for the rain. We paid for the momentum of the seats moving anytime something happened. And we still wanted to walk out of this movie. And people did walk out of this movie when we saw it. That's how boring this movie is. I don't give a... I know a lot of people are going to choose this as the #1 movie of the year, and good for you. Everyone else, and it's proved by the box office, no one cared. Ryan Gosling is absolutely sleepwalking through this movie. People want to say, oh, he's showing a great performance. No, he's just showing that I can stare blankly into a screen and move around. You can tell this movie's not for you in the second scene, the third scene of the movie, where Ryan Gosling is having an extended scene with with the female character who is a hologram. If you can put up with that scene, which goes on for fucking ever, which is the exact same thing as this movie. Every scene goes on forever, means nothing. You don't care. Everything can be condensed into 2 minutes, but they'll play it out for 15 minutes. Everyone says it's stunning visuals. If you like this movie and you didn't like Ghost in the Shell because they both look the same, something is very wrong with your reasoning. This movie was fucking awful. This movie was so bad. For people say, oh, Harrison Ford didn't sleepwalk through his performance in this movie. He wasn't fucking there for 2 hours in this almost 3-hour movie. He shows up around the 2-hour mark to do more or less nothing. Yeah, contribute some vague nonsense, and if you care, you might enjoy it. No, but for everyone else, we were like literally sleeping through this movie. The best line I can say about this movie is when we were seeing it and there was an extended chase scene where our chairs were shaking and moving around and whatnot. Jeff looked at me, he goes, this is the most boring roller coaster ride I've ever been on. And that's exactly what this movie is. It is fucking a slog. It is boring. It's not interesting. Jared Leto is awful. Ryan Gosling does nothing. Harrison Ford just kind of shows up. And then everything else is just long, drawn-out scenes of fucking hyperbole and nothing but mythology that nothing mattered. This movie is fucking awful. I wanted to do a review after we saw the movie, but this movie was so bad. Matter of fact, we were supposed to see 2 movies today. We were supposed to see this, and we were supposed to see My Little Pony. After we left the movie theater from Blade Runner 2049, we didn't want to see anything. We just wanted to go home and go to sleep because we couldn't sleep during this movie because our chairs were shaking. I would have rather have seen My Little Pony than this awful piece of nonsense. This movie is awful. It's the worst movie of the year, according to me. If you liked it, great. Enjoy it. I know many people who didn't like the fact that I didn't like Justice League. Once again, if you liked it, awesome. Good to you. That's my top 5 worst movies of the list, movies of the year list. Yours is probably going to be a lot different, so there's no use in screaming and howling about it. Just give your opinion and call it a day. And make sure your opinion is valid. Just be like, ugh. So that's it for now. I'll probably be coming back a little bit later with the top 10 best, because there's a lot good to talk about this year. Bye.